So guys, in this video, I will show you how the payment integration things work in our React app, how a actual payment done, we have something product in our e-commerce app, and how can we integrate our payment integration method. So we are going to integrate the Razor Pay, so Razor Pay things over there. So now so this is my backend application that will running on localhost 4000, and this will be my front end application that will running on localhost 5173 port. Okay, so now quickly show you the database things, how the database things are work. So this will be my user table. So there are some user a ID, username, user email, user phone. So basically, this is a expense tracker app, where user can add their expenses, and as well as they can delete their expenses, as well as they can edit their expenses. And and there are some payment integration system, we can do premium things. Like if some user buy some premium, he can do lot of things. Like one we can discuss later, what things he can do. Like he can show the category section, he can unlock the category section. So these type of things we can do after unlocking the premium. So this will be my user table. There are ID column, username, user email, user phone, and user password. And each premium user, and each premium user mean if the user is premium or not, he purchased the premium or not. And they are created and updated, created by the SQL automatically. And they are orders, this is the actual order. If some user purchase some premium, so they are payment ID, order ID, status, and user ID, who purchased the product will update over there. And there are expenses, ID, date, name, what type of on which date he purchased, who spend some amount. And their name, price, category, and user ID, who who at the expense, who spent something, on which user, okay. So I will quickly show the association, how this thing works. Let's go to the backend. So there are my app.js, and there are association. Okay, so one user has multiple expenses. User model has multiple expenses because one user can add some multiple amount of expenses, right? He can spend fuel, he can spend other things as well. And but one expense, one particular expense is belong to one user only, who add this expense. Okay. And there are user model. User model has many order. One user has lot of orders, he can purchase lot of things. Okay, but one order is belong to only one user, who there are multiple payment IDs. Okay, if some user purchase some shoe, and after that he purchase some bags or some clothes, so the order ID will be different. Okay, so now quickly check how it's working. Now go to our front end application. Yeah. Yeah. Now go to inspect. Okay. So yeah. So this is my authentication page where user can create their account as well as they can log in their account. And I will show you in the next, in after some times, I will create a separate video how the authentication process will work. I will show particularly in this video, I will show only the expense, only the payment integration things are how it is work. Uh, right now I don't have any kind of user. Okay, if I refresh the page, I don't have any user. Let's go to the user. There are no user. Okay, so I am creating a user. I creating myself over there. So over a product, and the email ID will be this gmail.com 6294543902, and the password will be this. Yeah. So guys, don't look the UI. I put dummy things over there. I can like I will make some good UI after on later projects. Okay. So this will be dummy. Like I can add some date, some expense name like food and expense price and category. So user is now created as well as created the account as well as they update some expenses over there. Okay. So if I go to the like databases, so there are now one user. Like I am the user. Username is Saurabh Pathak, and his premium user is like right now in null. Like I don't purchase any premium things. Like I don't purchase a premium subscription. Like okay. And if I go to the expense, one second, guys. Sorry. If I go to the expense, there are one expense like food, and the price is 200, and category is expense. It is not credit. Like I spend on expenses and user ID. Like who spent the amount? Like I spent the amount. Okay. So the user ID will be one, and user ID comes from this table. Okay. Now I will show you how the payment integration things work. Okay. So let me demonstrate first. Like there is a button. Let's say like we have a front end and there is some button. There have some button over there. There is some button. So if the user the button name is like buy premium. So if the user is click on the buy premium, I will call the backend server. I have to call the backend API and create the order. Create the order. So now, right now, guys, like the order is like in the pending state. Like user has just created the payment. Well, the payment integration things are like start, but the user is not done the payment, right? Okay. So we are creating the order, and what we do, and after he make the payment, and we like the user is created the order, and we get some order ID. Okay, but we don't get the payment ID right now. We don't get the payment ID. Okay, we get order ID, something like all other things as well. And like if the user is payment, so we have a something called callback function. So there are like handler. We also tell like this is a handler function. So what it does, it will uh, it will call after the user is made successful payment. Okay, so after this user is successful payment, we also get some order ID, and also as well as payment ID. Okay, after user done the payment. Okay, so we have to check like we have to after the payment ID is done, payment is done. We have to call our another server like another API to update the payment. Update the payment API. Update the payment API. We have to call, and there we have to find the like find up by using the order ID. Okay, and if two things are matched, like if the order is payment, if the payment is not happen, so we don't call the update payment. Don't call. Okay, and we have to check the order ID and update payment ID also give me a like after user done some payment, we get some order ID. So we have to check two payment ID, and the payment is successful, and we have to get some. We have to return something like the user is successful payment. The user payment is successful. Okay, and right now we have as well as we have to update the status. Like we are now in the pending status, right? So we have to update the status to successful, as well as in the table we have to update the payment ID as well as like if user some there are some argument like he tell like I would have done the payment but I did not get the order. So we can check like in the reserve dashboard or like some other method, some by using some other things. Okay, we can check like he actually done the payment or not. So let's quickly do that. This is like the theory part. uh, so this is my action. This is my buy premium action, and this button in the expense tracker. Okay, yeah. So like when user buy the premium, get the token from the local storage, like user in the token we have lot of information about that user, like user email or user password in the token, and we are getting the token from the local storage, and we are calling the dispatch method. So what user do, like we call the premium action, and what we are doing, like we are doing a post request, and they are like by premium endpoint, by premium API, and we are giving the token. Okay, so this will be my first step, like creating the order. Okay, now go to the backend. Yeah, this will be my backend and expense controller. Oh no, sorry, payment controller. So in the payment controller, I have buy premium. Okay, so this will be my sync function, and there are like request and response. I got the ID, and in like previous we have some other middleware, like authentication middleware to check the user. So we get the token, and we decode the token. So we get email and password, and we are like finding the user. After finding the user, we have to verify its password, like bcrypt. We are using bcrypt library. So bcrypt.compare, and if it is written true, then we are put the user object in the request. Okay. We are then we are calling the next. So it will go to the next middleware. And if you look on to the my uh, payment route, so there I have called authentication medial first, then I call the buy premium first. Now the actual things happens, right? Okay, so now what we are doing, we are taking the reserve key ID and secret, and we have to make like new instance, like new reserve, and we have to give some amount. Right now the amount is hard coded, but we can change it like dynamic as well as dynamic. uh, and we have to create the RGP, reserve dot order. There are some methods like order dot create, and we have to pass the amount and category. And if the payment is like, if the order is created, we have to like update in the order table, like the order is created, and we pass the order ID, the status, and the user ID. Look into the guys, like there are like the status is like pending. Currently, this is pending. Okay, so we are like not done the payment yet. Like we are just initializing the payment, but the user actually not done the payment. Okay, and if some error, like we are sending the error. So let's quickly done that. Refresh the page once. Yeah, I am clicking the buy premium. Okay, and now I'm going to the net banking thing, because this is test mode. I don't have to make some payment, and I clicking the pay. Yeah, and I am successful. Okay. Uh, yeah. Now I am a premium user. Okay. And if I look into the table, the I am a premium user, and the value is like 1, because it is true. And I am using right now premium user. And if I go to the order table, I can see my order, like I have the status is success. Now I will show you something interesting. Let's clear the token first. Hmm, application. Hmm, application. Okay. Now refresh the page. Yeah. Now I am going to like create another user. Okay. So another user, another user @gmail.com 6294543902. So now I am clicking the buy premium. Okay. Now if you see, like in the table, yeah. So there are like no payment ID. Okay. Just because I initially the payment, I get some response from the backend, and I store those things, store the something like order ID and status, and some user ID who make the payment, who try to make the payment. So I am adding those details over there. And like if you go to the user, yeah. So the ease premium user is now, because they don't buy the premium membership, right? And if you go to the order table, the status also is like pending status because he don't like he actually not done the payment. Okay, and like what I have done, let's go to the front end. Like what happens after like he done the payment, there are something like option. So I have to pass a handler function in the option, and I am the calling the like I am creating the new instance of the reserve pay and reserve pay open and reserve pay on like when the payment things are like currently working. Okay, so there are like if something like payment happened, I will show those things. Like I will I will told those things later. But just focus on this. Like this is my handler function, and in there like I have a async function, and what it does like it will only call after user done the payment. If the user is not done, then we are like yeah, it will go through this, like it will go through this. Okay, so right now the status is pending and user not done the payment, and I am done the payment right now. Now go to the net banking things and success. Okay, so now user like actually done the payment. Okay, if you go to this and there are like success. Yeah, so like the user is not the user is like successful done the payment, and we have to update the table as well. Update the table. Now go to the backend. Like this will be update premium status. Like when the user is done successful payment, I will show the premium handler. I will show the handler function. Like when it is called, like when the user is successfully done the payment, it will call. So there are like async function, and there are request and response object, and I will to check the user like the I am calling auth middler because of that route. So like okay, yeah. So my bad guys. Yeah. So this will be the auth middler update premium. So I have to check the user like who will update the payment, and I will go to the update premium status, and there I have to check like I have to find the order like where is the order, and like by using where clause, and like order ID is like order ID. I am getting the order ID because I have passed in the request body, and I have to update. I have to update. I have done like promise dot all over there because I have to run those promise simultaneously. And there is like payment ID is equal to payment ID and status will be success. So this API will call after the user is successfully made the payment. Now the last part is like if user failed, like if user just creating the order, but he will not done the payment. There are some issue like the card is not working, so he like failed the payment. Okay, so there are in my front end. I'll go to the front end. Yeah, like there are like resolve.on. If this is payment failed, then I have to call this function. Okay. So, and this function, what it does, it will up like if the user is like our order is like order is like pending state. And we have to update the state into like success. Sorry, failed. I have to update the status to failed. So I have to call the API like payment failed API. The payment is like failed, and I have done like access.post update status failed endpoint. So this will be my endpoint update status failed. Okay, so this will be my endpoint, and what I have to do, I have to pass the token in the header because I have to check the user who want to do those things, and there are like order ID, and uh, yeah. So I have to pass the order ID because I have to match those things. Now go to the backend. Yeah, so this will be my update status failed function. So what it will done? It will check the order model, and it will find the order ID, which order ID I have to update, and it will update the status to failed, and it will send it will reject like it will status is 400 and send success equal to false, and the message will be payment failed. So I have done with that. Let's create the user first. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah. Hmm. Let's remove the token application. Yeah, and API. Okay, I have removed the payment. If I refresh the page, the user is now log out. I'm creating another user. So this is my Tanmay Pramanik. Like Tanmay want to do some payment, but he don't have the money. So his bank like give some request like you don't have money and the request is failed. I'm entering the password over there. Now I'm creating the account. If you go to the user table, the order is created. Yeah, Tanmay Pramanik is like account is got created, and there is like he is not a premium user right now. Okay, so he want to buy the premium, and after he clicking some net banking, so this is will be a test page. I can fail, I can success, I can make the payment fail. Okay. So the right now the payment is like in the before clicking the failed button, the order is like in the pending stage. Now if I check like what happened, now if I check in the databases, let's go to the databases. Uh, this premium user is like still blank, and if I go to the order, the status is like failed. You can see the status is failed. Yeah. So this will be like how payment integration things work in general. So yeah, thank you guys. Bye bye.